Newly crowned UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland may seem like a loose cannon on the outside, but he's deeply inspirational, according to his teammate Jordan Levitt. During an interview with Helen Yee, the UFC lightweight shared how Sean Strickland's advice had a profound impact on his approach to fighting.
What's the best advice that Sean Strickland's ever given you?
I mean, can I say that can I say that on film?
Yeah, I could bleep a little here and there.
Sean always said, "Jordan, stop fighting like a." That was probably the best advice he's ever told me. And men don't fight with another man between their legs on top. And it's just advice I've taken to the bank, and I've won 3 fights since then. So thanks to Sean Strickland.
Wow, that's some great advice. Written that in your journal?
Yeah, I mean, I put it on like my little board on my mirror. I wake up every day, I see some Sean Strickland affirmations. Yeah, very blessed to have him in my life.
Strickland may have his way with words, but that's pretty solid advice, and one that was tried and tested by himself at UFC 293, where Tarzan defeated Israel Adesanya to win the middleweight title. Now, will there be an immediate rematch between the two? Dana White initially seemed interested, but he's now said that his words were taken out of context. The UFC president had a strong response to the media's criticism regarding his comments about an immediate rematch between Izzy and Strickland. But before we find out what Dana had to say, please take a moment to subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on your notifications. First, let's hear what Dana White said during the UFC 293 post-fight press conference.
I think you do the rematch, absolutely. I mean, the rematch is interesting. That could be the thing, too. You know, when you think about you're going into the Herrera fight, such a big fight, you know, and you've been in there with this guy so many times, and then you overlook Strickland, and you come in and you know, I don't know. I don't know the answers to these questions, but Israel does, and I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Doesn't it sound like Dana wants Adesanya to face Strickland in an immediate rematch? Well, the UFC president wants fight fans and the media to stop reading between the lines. He never said he wanted a rematch next, he only said it sounded interesting. There's a big difference between the two statements, isn't it?
Well, I think if you remember that night, people said, well, what do you think? You think it's a rematch? I said, yeah, the rematch sounds great. Never did I say, I saw the stupid that was written, you know, by all these stupid websites. You know, never once did I say, yes, we're going to do this rematch. I said, yeah, the rematch sounds, you know, we'll see what happens. There's obviously lots of options out there, and we'll see what happens. But yes, I'm still not opposed to an Israel rematch. We'll see how it goes.
Dana White also took a jab at a UFC executive after he made a weird comment following the completion of the UFC-WWE merger. The merger officially took effect with the announcement of the TKO Sports Entertainment Company on September 12th. UFC Executive Vice President and COO Lawrence Epstein told ESPN that one goal of the merger is to make every WWE fan a UFC fan, and vice versa. Dana White completely disagrees with that statement. In fact, he thinks it's the dumbest comment of all time.
One of the dumbest statements of all time. Yeah, I don't know why he said that. I don't even know what to say to that. No. There's some crossover. Some people like WWE, some people like UFC, some people like both. I don't think there's ever going to be a day where we turn every UFC fan into a WWE fan or every WWE fan.
Dana White was so surprised by Epstein's statement that he hoped that the UFC executive was misquoted.
What's beautiful about the synergy between these two fan bases is they are very completely opposite. You know, there's very little crossover. And again, maybe he was misquoted. I hope that's the case, because I could not disagree with him more.
Dana White has been on fire lately, and one man he directly attacked is top middleweight contender Dricus du Plessis, who was supposed to fight Adesanya at UFC 293, but he refused to accept it, citing an injury. Prior to Adesanya versus Strickland, Dana was asked about du Plessis, and he didn't mince his words.
You know how much I love when guys turn down fights. I don't know. We'll see what happens on Saturday, and then we'll go from there.
Du Plessis doesn't understand why Dana is so mad at him.
I've been ready to address every situation of what might happen this weekend, and you know what the UFC might say, what Dana might say. Obviously, him not being very happy that I turned down a fight on 7 weeks' notice with an injury. which I don't really understand. But you know, it's at the end of the day, it's business for them, and you know, you've got to respect that. But if I go look at my track record, I know for a fact that I'm not somebody that turns down fights if it's not a good enough reason. I've taken fights on short notice multiple times. Every time they phone, I say yes, let's go. This time around, it wasn't possible with the injury and short notice. But
what do you make of Dricus to Plessis' apparent fallout with Dana White? Should the South African get his well-deserved title shot against Sean Strickland? Moving on, former UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman thinks Israel Adesanya should not fight for the middleweight title next. In a recent interview, Usman acknowledged that he should have taken more time to prepare for his welterweight title rematch against Leon Edwards after losing the belt to the Brit at UFC 278. The Nigerian thinks that his compatriot should not make the same mistake. According to Usman, Izzy should consider taking a break instead of hastily pursuing a rematch.
So for Israel, I'm sure as a competitor, I'm sure he's feeling a little bit of this as well and thinking, no, I'm not going to get, this guy shouldn't have beat me in the first place, just like I felt. This guy shouldn't be in there with me in the first place, as I felt. And so you want to get it back and get that stain off of you right away. But if you're guaranteed that shot, I would like to see him take a little bit of time, you know, enjoy life. So for Izzy, I think the activity might be a little too much. Izzy has been fighting a lot. Between when I was champion, myself, Izzy, we were fighting for, you know, quite a few pay-per-views. So I think Izzy's at a point where I think he could, you know, just take a little break, and I think he can make the necessary adjustments to be able to come out there and win that fight.
Do you agree with Kamaru Usman? Bryce Mitchell needs our help, fight fans. The UFC featherweight has accused his quote-unquote evil ex-girlfriend of destroying fruit trees in his home in Searcy, Arkansas. Mitchell is presently in Las Vegas and has concerns that his ex-girlfriend, Kish Jones, who works as a tattoo artist, might further harm his property.
So I'm out of town for my fight, and my coward ex-girlfriend came by my house and vandalized my house yesterday. She destroyed all of my fruit trees. Now, my ex-girlfriend runs a tattoo shop on Booth Street. And for the love of God, if you're not evil and you're not a coward, don't give her your business. The tattoo shop on Booth Street, the woman that runs that, came by my place and destroyed all my fruit trees. I've been working on those trees for years, and she came by last night and killed them all. I'm making this post because this is evil. And I'm begging the community of Searcy to help me. Guys, I'm out of town, and my animals and my wife is at home by herself. I need my neighbors to help. I need my neighbors to help. This evil woman is going to come by. She's threatened to kill my dogs. She's threatened to kill me. She's threatened to kill all my animals. And I'm telling you, last night she came over and killed my trees. Now that my trees are gone, she's going to try to kill me.
What do you make of today's stories? Let us know in the comment section below. To stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of mixed martial arts, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.